Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hi, Rangers. It's me, Jackie Kashian. Welcome to the Dork Forest. It's 2024. Let's do this. Here's the credits, of course. Mike Ruekberg sang that song at the beginning, and he wrote that song, and he sang it with Sarah Cohen, his wife, and he will sing the Mexican hat dance at the end of the program. Also, Patrick Brady, still putting this together. Video, audio, all of it. He's amazing. So, and Vilmos doing JackieKashianStore.com. Squarespace is doing the regular Jackie Kashian page, and I'm thinking of moving the Dork Forest and dorkforest.com away from WordPress because it's driving me nuts. But those are the credits. But if you go to JackieKashian.com, you can get Dork Forest merch. You can get my stand-up merch. You can get my stand-up CDs and DVDs, which you'd have to have devices for those. You can also see videos and find out any number of things. I have another podcast called The Jackie and Laurie Show, but the Dork Forest is the flagship. 18th year. We're doing it, you guys. You can go to my Bandcamp or my YouTube for extra content. Please donate, is what I'm saying. It's 2024, and I think we've been in this long enough. Why don't you guys, everybody send me $100? That's what I'd like you to do. You can PayPal me. There's links all over the pages. You can Venmo me at Jackie Kashian. You can find me at a stand-up show and hand me a sweaty wad of 20s. Do something. But I love doing the show. I would love to make some money, is what I'd like to do. In other news, I'm sure there's more things that I should talk about, but I can't think of them. But let's listen to who's going to dork out about something, because that's my favorite part. Thanks for listening, you guys. You're all great. Let's get into the show. Guess what? It's Dork Forest Day. Hello, I'm Jackie Kashian. I'm in my garage with absolutely no background. There's a picture of Tiberius, whatever, because he's buried underneath the flagstones. And when I say flagstones, I mean concrete. I don't know why I had to make it Victorian. Dork Forest, Rangers, I'm in the garage. With me, one of the comics that I met when I was up in Eugene, Oregon. She was great. And now she's gonna dork out about Finland. Welcome to the program, Emma Lee.
Thank you, Jackie.
And your handle on the Instagram is Emma Yucks, EMMAYUKS. And no,
I did get it wrong. Yeah, YUCKS.
Oh, YUCK. Oh, like as in yuck?
Yeah, as in yuck, yuck. You know,
okay,
like laughing. I'm sorry.
Well, I believe yucks is YUK, but
oh dear.
There's let me tell you something. My AOL account, which was created in 1989 by my sister, is linked to the name Jesus because she thought it was funny.
It's funny.
So that's how it goes with the internet. All of a sudden you buy something or you choose a handle. What is with my hair? Good Lord. Anyway, so it's a video program as well, you guys. Feel free to find out that I'm alive. Anyway, so go to the YouTube channel if you want, the Dork Forest, and watch this. You have a very pale background as well. I have a tape gun. You see my tape gun?
I do see that.
Sweet. Pretty sweet.
That's impressive.
Gun. Yeah, I do my own merch fulfillment.
Oh, okay.
I do my own merch fulfillment. Not going to lie to you. Okay, so Emma, first of all, you live in Eugene, Oregon, which I have recently fallen in love with, possibly from a desire to run away. And it looks like the kind of place where people do. Mm-hmm. Like that it's looks like a real place where people go, oh yeah, I'm giving up. I'm just going to go to Eugene, Oregon. And, but you are going for your PhD there.
Yeah.
And you have been doing stand-up comedy for some time.
Yep.
How long have you been doing stand-up? I forgot to ask.
Well, I started about 5 years ago. I wasn't doing it super regularly. And then the pandemic happened.
Sure.
And now here we are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and and I'm just before we get to talk about Finland, because why not? What are you getting your PhD in?
So my research is in presidential photography and photojournalism at the White House.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah.
If we run out of Finland talk, we will go back to that, my friend.
Okay.
Okay. But let's talk Finland, where you got your master's degree in what? Where'd you get your master's degree?
It was in media and global communication.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Helsinki.
Yep.
That's the only town I know in Finland. And I bet that they can see Russia from their house.
Some of them, maybe, yeah.
Right. The ones by the Russian border.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know anything about Finland. What it's up north. It's cold.
Yep.
And a lot of traditionally white people.
Yes, that's very true. All of those things are definitely true.
That's what I've got.
Most people don't know where it is on the map, so that's fun.
Where is it on the map?
It is right next to Russia.
Okay, but it's kind of by Norway or Sweden?
Yeah. Yeah, it's right next to Sweden, and then there's Russia and Finland's in the middle.
And where's Norway? On the other side of Sweden?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
There we go.
Unless I got my geography wrong.
Well, it's a classic. But now we know that so the northwestern part of Russia, like what's a major city in Russia that's near Finland? Is there one?
Yeah, well, people take like cruises, ferries over to St. Petersburg from Helsinki.
Oh, okay. That one's famous. St. Petersburg's famous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So what do you know about Finland? Why do you love it? What's happening?
Well, I mean,
what made you go there?
Yeah, it's just such a fun, strange place, and I do love it so much. So I went there. I mean, I guess it's a little complicated. Well, not complicated, but my parents used to play music in Helsinki on these little the cruise boats that would go in between Helsinki and Stockholm.
Okay.
And so I grew up just hearing a whole lot about Finland and their friends in Finland. And then when I was 16, we finally went on a trip there for a week. And I was like, this place is pretty cool. And then when I finished my bachelor's degree, I was working a job that I didn't really enjoy. Driving way too far, making way too little money. And I said, well, what do people do when they're miserable? They go to grad school, right? So
in some circles, yes.
Yeah. So I was just looking at programs and I thought, what's the farthest place from Florida I could possibly go?
Oh, did you grow up in Florida?
Yeah, I did. I grew up in Florida.
Northern Florida?
Central Florida.
Central Florida. Well, it's closer to 1977. So as you go further north in Florida, I find you end up closer to 1877.
Yeah, yeah, that's what they say. That's the saying. The more north you go, the more south it gets.
Yeah. So, Central. Okay. So, but did you go to your undergrad in Florida?
Mm-hmm. Yep. In Orlando, University of Central Florida.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, I studied journalism.
There you go. I see a pattern.
Yeah.
So, and then international journalism and media is the master's degree. Mm-hmm. And so you're like, how far can I get from Florida?
Yeah.
And your parents liked Helsinki. Did they visit you during college?
Well,
when you went there for masters?
They actually, I don't think they came over. They came when I graduated. Yeah.
Okay.
And I did go back to Florida a couple of times while I lived abroad to visit. So, yeah.
You're not a monster.
No.
You'll go say hi to your folks.
Exactly. And so yeah, like I was working this job and I wanted to go abroad. I wanted to get far away. And at the time, Finland was not charging tuition for non-EU students. So
really?
I thought I might as well apply. Like the worst thing they're going to say is no.
So it was free.
It was free.
To go.
Yep.
You had to do sort of housing and books and clothes and food.
Yeah,
right?
I had to get a visa as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you can't stay in Europe longer than 90 days as an American. So I had to get a student visa. I had to go to Washington, D.C. and like get fingerprinted and all kinds of stuff.
Sure. That's and then are they still doing that?
No, it's changed now, unfortunately.
Well, that'll happen. It's a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah.
But for the people who got it, that's great.
Yeah, it was really cool. And I was also very fortunate. I was very lucky. I got housing, like an apartment that was subsidized by the state. And so it was student housing and it was very cheap.
And did you end up getting like sort of a day job there, or?
Yep. So that was also a really cool thing that happened. I applied for they had grants for international
Oh,
students, and so I applied for one that would help me for a traineeship, basically an internship. And so the university would pay me via this company if I got a job. So
right.
I worked part-time for a startup while I was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was it sort of a work study grant where it was a grant that you had to be at school to do it? And
Yes. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that does sound really cool.
Yeah.
It's winter a lot though there, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, except in the summertime.
When it's summer a lot.
Yes.
Eh,
Yeah.
How'd you like that?
Well, I think I was just so happy to be there. I was like, this is amazing.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I had a great time. I mean, I didn't mind it because coming from Florida when it's just 90 degrees every day, even on
Right.
Christmas,
Right.
I was just, it was a very unique experience for me because I moved there, I think, in the fall around beginning of September.
Right.
And so very quickly it became winter.
Right.
And, I had to buy snow boots. I had to buy a jacket. I said, I'm not going to buy one of these in Florida. It's not going to be good enough. So,
Right.
yeah, I did have to go through all of that. But I didn't mind it so much. It was fun to be in the snow. And it was really interesting to sort of see how long it took for the sun to come up over the winter.
Wow, very scientific of you. Look how dark it is.
Yeah.
Again today.
Yeah.
What about next month?
Yeah.
Interesting. See
Yeah.
that sliver of light? That means something's happening.
Yep.
Did you how did that because it literally at some point it is 24 hours of darkness, right?
Not in Helsinki. Helsinki
Okay.
is, of course, their most southern city. And it's
No,
just.
I don't know that.
Yes, it is.
How many cities are there in I mean,
A lot.
it's a big country. Is that
Not
what you're saying?
really, no, but they've got,
But
they've got enough going on to have a
Right.
few more cities.
They got indoor plumbing. It's
They
all.
do.
It's. I don't know anything. What do you know about Finland historically? Were they colonizers? I'm sure they funded it. What was
Well,
their jam?
yeah, they have a long history of trying to get their freedom from Sweden and then trying to get, separate from Russia. They've sort of had
Okay.
this
Oh,
long
there's
history of that.
okay. So both sides of them are being
Mm,
sort of meddling.
yeah,
They have meddling fingers on either side
exactly.
of Finland.
Yeah.
So they were too busy to oppress anyone else. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I'm sure that's not true.
Well, but
But
just
I
in
don't
general.
know. I don't
Right.
know.
I do love that though. I'm sure that's not true. I'm sure they took time out of their busy lives being a powerful nation.
They probably
'Cause it
had Vikings and they didn't do anything good, so.
No, they're like birds who plant seeds elsewhere. And
Right,
by that I
and
mean rape. Anyway, I'm so
exactly.
sorry.
And they do have their own, indigenous population that like all indigenous populations is a very small portion of the population at this point, so.
And pretty marginalized and are they the
Um,
reindeer people?
they are, yeah.
Oh
Sami.
my gosh.
Mhm.
Look at me coming up with
You do know some
not
stuff.
the actual name, but what is the name of the people?
Sami, Sami.
SAMI is the name of the tribe or the name of
Yeah, they're the
is
Sami.
how they self ID.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Did you get to see or do any reindeer stuff?
Um,
Reindeer games?
no. No, not really, because a lot of that really happens in northern Finland,
Right.
and I only went to northern Finland once during the summertime, and I said, "I'm not gonna come back here in the middle of winter, it's too much."
Right. Right. Was it pretty rural? Did it feel
In some
bleak?
ways, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Were you outdoor? Are there outdoor stuff I mean, Helsinki is a big city, right?
Yes,
I mean, I
yes.
don't know what Hey Siri, what's the population of Helsinki? 675,000 people.
Yeah,
So that's I don't know, 1/10 of Los Angeles.
yeah,
So it is it's plenty of people though.
yeah. for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big city. Well, yeah.
And you get to, I mean, and the thing is I'm sure there's plenty to do because of how long winter is.
Oh yeah. Yes. And they do have their outdoor activities. They have national parks and really lovely outdoor areas like that, and people like to camp and forage for berries and mushrooms, and not too
Is
different
that
from the
people or
Pacific
do you?
Northwest.
Do you
uh
do you enjoy such a thing?
oh sure. Why
Oh,
not,
good. Well, that's cool. Did you
Yeah.
actually go camping in
No.
Finland?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Too many mosquitoes. A lot of mosquitoes in the summertime.
Oh,
It's
I
not
bet
it's not
they will take you
nice.
away. Yeah.
Yeah. But they do have
Um.
the cool, I think it's cool, the right to roam rule where you can just pretty much go where you like and where you want to go and not get in too much trouble about it.
Oh, you
So,
mean there as like property rights? You can kind of hike across people's land, and they can't
mhm.
really give you any guff.
Mhm.
I once I used to do door to door canvassing for an environmental group called Wisconsin's Environmental Decade.
Mm.
Let know in your hearts that we made 40%. So for every dollar you gave, 60 cents of it went to administration, and maybe a nickel to the environment. But whatever it was, I did a lot of the rural things. So I would walk from farmhouse to farmhouse.
Mhm.
And once I crossed a farmland, and a guy shot at me
Ugh.
with an actual rifle, and I ran. It turns out, and he didn't. I don't think he shot to hurt me. I think he
Sure.
just shot to say, "You kids, get off my land."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that's kind of cool. So sort of walkabout
Mhm.
hiking?
Yeah, you
That's
can.
neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you?
Not so much. I spent much more time in the city. Yeah.
What did you? Yeah. What did you do in the city? What's the?
Well,
Do they have good restaurants or coffee
yeah,
shops or?
definitely. But I think as a student, I had a much different experience than one
Oh,
might
right.
if you move there for a job or because somehow you married a Finnish person and then you're gonna live there. I had a much different
How would it
experience.
happen?
Yeah,
Somehow.
I
How
don't
would it
know.
happen?
So there was a lot to do like through the university. They, especially as an international student, they really put a lot of effort into um, helping you feel comfortable and integrate and giving you things to do. So,
What did they give you to do besides, I
well,
mean, schoolwork and
well, sure, schoolwork, but I mean more so like through student organizations. Like I was involved in an international student organization, and mostly what they do is put on parties.
oh, nice. It's
Yeah.
was it pretty international? Like it plenty of Finnish people, but also a lot of other countries represented?
Yeah, mostly European countries. And I knew a few Americans, and there were also Finnish people in my international program. So,
Yeah,
it was pretty mixed. Yeah,
that's cool.
it was fun.
What do you got? What do you got for stories? What do you got? You got any good stories of good times in Helsinki for 2 years?
Sure. Well, one of these activities that would be orchestrated by students were what they call sit-sits. And
What?
yeah,
Did you sit?
yeah, you do. It's kind of like a dinner party esque event.
Okay.
And they're themed, and some of them are just themed like, dress well, dress nicely. Or, we hosted a couple as this international student group that, you can have a Valentine's Day themed one or pajama party themed. And so you show up in accordance to whatever the theme is. And it's basically a 3-course meal that is
Oh, wow.
prepared by the people who are hosting the sit. And it involves drinks and lots of wine and other things. And of course, if you don't drink, they have non-alcoholic options as well.
Sure.
And they're singing. And so I
They're
actually,
singing?
yeah. So let me see here. I actually pulled one of my books out. You have to get these books for your sit, and they're all themed for like which department you're in. So this was themed
Okay.
for the social sciences.
Okay.
And it's a basically a songbook.
Oh my gosh. With
Yeah.
different and then you just go, and how many people come to the sit? I
Oh,
mean,
they're quite
it could be as,
large.
oh, really?
Yeah, they're pretty big. I'm trying to think.
40?
Yeah, 40,
20?
50, 60. I went to a very big one that was like a celebration of the universe, like of the department that I was in. I don't remember
Okay.
how many years, 100 years or something like that of this department
Okay.
existing. And it was a very fancy one. And there were definitely over 100 people there.
Wow. And the hosts have to provide food and beverages for all those people.
Mhm.
And does it cost anything?
Yeah, you do have to pay.
Oh, that
Depending.
makes sense.
Yeah, depending
to-
on how fancy they are, there's a varying cost level. Yeah,
Yeah, just to throw it in the kitty to
Yep.
cover
cover
whatever's
food
happening.
and drinks and everything else. And so the people who host it also decide which songs you're going to sing and when and what you're going to do.
So is that a standard, like, is there a new book for every sit that you go to?
No.
That's the main sit book for
Yeah.
for the social sciences.
Yeah.
And so there has been a committee. They have come up with the songs that people in social sciences might know and sing. And there's no music, I see, just
Correct.
lyrics.
Just lyrics. Yeah. And they can be pretty interesting. And, there's a mix of Finnish, Swedish, and English in here. And, if they pick a song that's in Finnish, you just do your best.
Is
Just
it
read
phonetically
along.
spelled?
It is,
Is
yeah.
it? Okay, well, that helps.
Yeah.
Is there a Finnish alphabet?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, they've got all
I don't
kinds of
know.
letters with umlauts and stuff.
Oh, so they use like, it's not like the Armenian alphabet or
No.
the Russian alphabet.
No.
It uses the A to Z,
Yes.
and then they just add a lot of dots and
Yeah.
curly cues,
Yeah.
kind of like the French.
Yeah.
That's it. Have I offended everyone? Have I belittled everything? Okay, there we go. Keep moving. Okay, so but but I didn't know. But it is, so it's phonetically, because that's what they do in the Armenian church. They have it written in Armenian, the music, and then on the opposite page, it's all phonetically done in the A to Z.
Okay, yeah.
Regular.
Well, so the cool thing about the Finnish language is that you pronounce every letter. So basically, the way it's written is the way it's said. So you don't need it is already kind of spelled phonetically, as long as you know how to pronounce the letters with the umlauts.
Oh, right. How do you pronounce the letters with the umlauts?
I don't want to embarrass myself, Jackie.
It's called the Dork Forest, but I completely support you. If there's anyone Finnish who wants to let me in on it, I'm sure that is there sort of, depending how many dots and swirls are going on, how you pronounce it, like it's just a long A versus a short A.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Kind of thing. And,
Okay.
it's a very consonant heavy language. And so if there's two consonants in a row, it's kind of like a pause. Like you do have to pronounce them both.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's sort of a skip. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's a tough language. I tried to learn it. I took an intensive Finnish course through the university, and I had to take the final exam twice. So.
Oh, but you passed it eventually?
The second time, yeah.
Right. And was it immersive in the way that it was also spoken, or was it mostly written?
Well, what do you mean?
When you said it was you didn't say immersive, you said intensive. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was it mostly written or was it spoken?
Well,
because you should be able, like, can you ask, where's the bathroom and
how
do I get to the bibliothèque?
Not anymore.
Okay. Well, if you went, it would take you 2 or 3 days to go. Yeah. I know how to ask for a cup of coffee.
It's a tough language. It's not a romantic language. It's not related to really any other language. It's in the Finno-Ugric family, which I believe Hungarian.
What else is in that?
Hungarians in that. I'm not sure what else, but it's very interesting because the endings of words change. Like if you're going to the train station or you're leaving the train station, it's train station going to train station leaving. That's kind of
which is how Latin works, isn't it?
Yeah, but
yeah. So, it's to learn another language is so complicated.
Yeah.
I've failed at more than one. So, congratulations.
And then
language.
They're in the bigger cities in Finland, everybody speaks English, and so it was incredibly difficult to actually apply what I learned. You know,
Oh, right.
you go try to
Because
order.
everybody was practicing their English.
Yeah, or they're just like, we appreciate the effort, but it'd be easier for both of us if we just speak English.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
then, yeah. Okay. Well, but that's good to know too, is that everyone speaks English. And
Yeah.
you know how to say thank you?
Yes. And now you've put me
Will
on the
you say
spot
thank you?
and I already
Okay.
forgot.
Oh,
Oh, I do.
hey Siri.
Okay, it's
There we go.
Kitos.
Kitos?
Yeah, Kiitos. Kitos.
Kiitos. There we go.
Kitos.
Because
Yeah.
you gotta do both eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And then
I like that.
Thank you very much is Kitos Palyan.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
See?
Know
You
some
remembered
stuff.
something.
Yeah.
There you go. And what about, so when you go to I just want to go back to the sit.
Yeah.
Are there any songs that you knew that were in that book?
Well,
Like row your boat? I don't know
no,
what I want there to be.
They're no. They are very interesting songs. So even the English ones, they're like drinking songs. I was sort of,
Oh, okay.
you know, going through the book before we got on here, and they have the Homer Simpson version of Do Re Mi, you know, Do a deer. Yeah, that's in
Yeah.
here. And then, you know,
But it's the Homer Simpson version?
yeah.
You know that there's 30 seasons of The Simpsons. I
Well,
have not
that's
seen
what
the
they
Homer Simpson.
called it in here.
Okay. Because
Um,
it's probably obnoxious or something?
Yeah, how does it go? Do a deer.
A female deer?
Yeah.
Ray, a drop of golden sun?
No, Ray.
Me, a
the
name
guy I
call
buy
myself?
beer from.
Okay.
Ray.
Oh,
Me,
it's
the guy I
Firking.
buy beer
It's Filking.
for.
Okay. So they just changed the words to, yeah.
Long, long way to the store, whatever it is. You know, that version is in here somewhere.
Okay.
And I do have 3 different versions of this book because I kept forgetting them and just kept getting more because I was like, I need this. So, yeah.
Right. And are they all for the same department?
Yeah. Yep. So these
Okay.
are 2 different. So I was there for 2 years, and there's a new one every year, basically.
Oh, okay.
But the songs are pretty similar. But, you know, if you don't get the new one, if they say open to page 60, your page 60 might be different. So
That's it.
Yep.
That's how they get you.
Yep. So, and I've got all my name tags that I got because, you know, they organize where you sit as well.
Oh.
It's a
Do they
whole
have
thing.
a plan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You plan it out.
And have you ever been on a planning commission or
Mhm.
thrown one?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I was involved in making one. And so, you know,
Right.
it also helps to have that plan. So, you know, who's a vegetarian or who's gluten-free, who wants non-alcoholic drinks, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's how micromanaged it is.
Yeah.
Like, and who is, they just, you have to hire caterers or hire waiters or?
No, we cooked the food ourselves. So there was basically a space. It was called the new student hall. And there's also the old student hall. And
There better be.
yeah. And, you know, these are spaces that the university owns that you can reserve as a student organization. And some of them have kitchens and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I'm sure, you know, we weren't meeting any kind of health code, but we did cook the food ourselves.
Right. I lived in a co-op in Madison, Wisconsin for 5 years during my undergrad. And every Sunday, 2 sets of roommates had to make the Sunday dinner. And we didn't know what the hell.
Yeah.
It was gross.
Yeah.
And people were always like, all right, it's free.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Yeah.
And so what did you cook? Do you remember any of the things that you made?
Gosh, I'm trying to
How
remember.
many times did you do it?
Well, how many times did I help put one on, or how many did I go to?
How many did you help put? Like just one, or?
I think I only was involved in 2 or 3 because they're a lot of work.
Yeah, they sound like it, especially if there's going to be 30 or 100 people there.
Right, because you have to also get the alcohol or any other drinks yourself, and that's kind of to me as an American is a very funny thing that the university is just like, yeah, you know, every student group gets a certain amount of money that you can use, and you're allowed to use that money to buy alcohol. And the thing is, you take the ferry down to Estonia, at least when I lived there, because the liquor stores in Finland are state owned, and it's very expensive to buy alcohol. And so you would go down to Estonia and buy your cases and then take the ferry back and cart
With
all of this
and
alcohol.
is Estonia? I feel like Estonia is another country, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Thanks for playing, Jackie.
Yes, it is.
So
It's directly south
so-
of Helsinki.
Oh, it's and so it's just an easy ferry ride, and
Yeah, I
but
think it
you
was
still have you're
3
still gonna need a
hours.
car to. Okay,
Well, no, we didn't need a car. We got, like carts or like trolleys, and so
wagons.
yeah, or like the things that are like straight and then they've got the little
Oh, a hand truck,
Yes.
like a dolly.
yeah,
Yeah,
dolly. Yeah, that's the word I was
Some
looking
people
for.
call them dollies. Some people call them hand trucks. Yeah.
And so you just
Oh,
kind
and
of
you just rolled that through the streets.
Yep.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Just cases and cases of beer
Yep.
and booze and.
Yep.
All right. And then what was the food?
Okay.
Do they eat? Yeah.
So it really depends. And I'm trying to remember what we cooked. I remember the only thing that I can remember truly was one time we made like a borscht.
Okay. Which is beets or
Yeah.
cabbage
Yeah.
and it's a soup.
Yeah.
Was there what kind of booze did you get? Do you remember what kind of booze you got?
Well, you it's mostly wine. You start with wine and then you have your harder liquor for special occasion toasts and cheers and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the harder liquor though? Just vodka or
Yeah, mostly vodka. I think that was the safe bet. They've got a lot of interesting, strange drinks though.
did you try anything that was weird, like a lime or a lemon? Like,
Well,
because right now there's a lot of candied booze out there. They're just
Well-
like, your inner child wants something that tastes like lemonade.
the inner child in Finland, they're big on salty licorice. Have you ever had it?
Oh, no.
yeah.
It's just like red or black licorice with salt on it.
It's black licorice. And I actually this is the candy version. It's called
Okay.
salmiakki.
Okay.
And
Is it good?
If you like salty licorice, it's good.
Yeah. Okay. And if you like black licorice and then with salt on top of it, is that
Yeah.
the whole? What's in it? Can you read the ingredients?
Let's see. Do they have an English?
Or is it just in Finnish?
Well, it's in Finnish and Swedish,
Okay.
and
Well,
not
they mean it. They mean well.
not in English. Yeah.
All right. Well, because what I'm wondering is because I think red vines are made out of cancer and dreams. So I don't know I don't think the EU allows that.
No,
So
I don't think so. But it's hard to. I mean, I don't know. Again, it depends on how you really feel about black licorice.
I like black licorice. A lot of people don't. It was an acquired taste. I never liked it when I was a
Yeah.
kid
Yeah.
because it wasn't sweet enough.
Yeah.
But as my palate matured,
Yeah.
I enjoyed black licorice, and I don't mind a salt. I think I was in Iceland and I tried a salty black licorice, and it was fine.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing to write home about, but also not a bad thing.
No.
So,
So they also have an alcohol that tastes like that.
oh, do they?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that'll suck the youth in, especially if you're raised on salty black licorice.
It's
What?
not a nice drink. I mean, I just don't think I'm a fan of black licorice, especially salty black.
Oh, that might be
licorice.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because
So what did
I actually
you-
have a little
yeah.
bottle here. It's also a black drink.
And what's it called?
Well, it's also called salmiakki.
Okay.
They might sometimes.
But
it's
is
called
it 180
salmari.
proof?
It says
Like,
it's
is
only
it 90%
30%.
alcohol? Really?
Yeah, it is vegan.
Wait,
also.
30%. 30 as well it ought to be. It's just licorice. It's the 30% alcohol or 30%. I think 30%. So that's 60 proof.
30% volume.
Oh, that's actually how much is in the bottle. I don't know. Really? PhD. What's happening?
In social sciences. Okay.
Not in the word science is in it. That's what I always, because I have a BA in political science, and so whenever anyone asks me a medical question, I'm like, well, science is in the name.
Yeah.
So get the vaccine.
Yeah.
Okay. So right. So what did you end up eating? A lot of fish?
Yeah, a lot of salmon. They've got a really
Oh, nice.
a Finnish dish that I really like is salmon soup, and it's more of a summertime dish. It's like a creamy salmon soup with potatoes and carrots and stuff.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I wish my mother-in-law liked fish. She literally said to me the other night, and this is where I just take over the show. She literally said to me, I don't know why anyone would eat fish. And I said, you can't get rid of an entire part of food. Like, you can't just say, I would never, I mean, I suppose, like, some people do it with pork, but they eat other meats. And some people do it with meat, but they're like, no, I see why people eat meat. They like it. But why would you say fish is so gross? I don't know why anyone would eat it. And you're like, fish is not gross. It's delicious.
Yeah.
But you don't like fish. Just say that.
Yeah.
Here ends the rant.
Yeah.
About fish. Okay. So what it's essentially a white soup, but with salmon. Okay.
Yeah.
Because Finland, I think, probably is a fishing, like, historically, right?
Yeah.
Did you have any herring?
No, it was there though.
It was available. It was readily available.
Oh yeah, yeah. They also love
what
their
were other things that were
rye bread. Rye bread is their big preferred bread.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's more it's certainly an interesting bread. I don't know if what kind of what did they? So the salmon soup sounds delicious.
It's good.
What else? What other foods did you enjoy?
Well, an interesting tradition that they have is I think it's Thursdays. It's either Thursdays or Tuesdays. They do pea soup. It's a pea soup and
like an English pea, like a regular English pea.
Well, it's like
or is it a bean, like a split pea?
That's a really great question, Jackie.
But they call it pea soup.
It's because it's green. And
you guys,
it's all soup.
It's soup-like, and I will look into this pea soup tradition.
Yeah, and you eat it with
Finland.
a pancake.
Oh, what kind of pancake?
Well,
just like
well, not American pancakes. It's literally a cake that's baked in a pan in the oven. So they're a little thicker and they're kind of eggier. They're sweet.
Nice.
You eat them with jam, but yeah.
Okay. Did you do any baking? Did you understand?
I mean, I didn't do the baking.
No. Do you do any sort of cooking or?
I don't have an oven in my apartment, so I mostly eat macaroni and cheese right now.
At this time, it's a macaroni
stage
and
in my
cheese is
life,
available.
yes. Yeah.
Okay. So, but at that stage in your life, did they teach you how to make any sort of Finnish food? Or?
No. If that's the kind of thing you want to learn, you got to do it on your own for sure.
So, what was the ones that you went to, the sits that you went to, were they costumey or what were the themes? Do you remember?
Well, actually, there was one I went to that was a little costumey. There was one. This is another student tradition. And to wear overalls, which they call overalls, but they're like, I don't know what you would see.
Bib jeans?
No, like full arm, full leg, button up the middle.
Oh, like a painter's coverall kind of
coveralls.
Thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
they're very, very hip right now. There's a lot of very fancy ladies that are wearing, and I'm like, how do you go to the bathroom?
All right. It was an interesting experience for sure. And so you go to these events, whether they're parties or they're, they can be kind of anything hosted by the university. And you collect patches from these events that you go to, and you sew them on your overalls, and then people know that you like.
It's just a collector.
Yeah,
they made it into a game.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
and then you have a different color depending on which department you're in. So my overalls were red for the social
Okay.
sciences. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What is social science? Like a master's in social sciences, what classes are you taking?
Well, I mean, it's a pretty broad term.
It's so broad.
I
Yeah.
took political communication classes. I also took some classes on in indigenous studies. Um, yeah,
Finnish indigenous?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
And so when you what did you end up getting your master's in?
media and global communication is the title.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you ended up like do you study sort of the integration of media with the social sciences?
yeah. So I mean, it's just in the umbrella of social sciences, because social
Okay.
sciences also encompasses political science and everything like that, kind of.
Oh, they never let me in on that. All I knew was that the international relations people were very arrogant.
Mm.
And I was like, political sciences, we're more pure. The IR people, they're all opportunists.
Uh-huh.
And so
Those
who
guys.
knows?
Yeah.
Those guys. Anyway, so you so it's name for me some of the fun things that you love about Helsinki and Finland
Yeah.
and why you picked it as your dorkdom.
Well, I really like going to the sauna. It was not something I had ever really done before moving to Finland. But that is another social activity. Uh,
That's cool.
yeah.
What is it?
What is a sauna?
Yeah. Is that the wet one? Is that the dry one? What is it?
It's
Tell the people who know nothing.
so yeah, it's the I guess the wet.
Pretend I've never been to Helsinki.
Okay, let's pretend.
Which I've never had.
Yeah, so it's a wooden structure, and there's a stove inside. That if it's a traditional wooden sauna, it's going to have a fire stove, and on top of it are going to be a stack of rocks. And it could also be electric and heat the rocks
Okay.
electrically. And then you take your water and you dump it on the hot rocks, and it steams up the room.
Okay. So, but it's done. It's a wooden. Like it's not just like at the gym. If you go into a sauna,
Right.
there's a wet one and a dry one, and there's not one that has a medium where you throw water on. That seems to be one that's not offered at Bally's.
Yeah.
Right? At the at fitness 24-hour fitness.
Yeah.
So traditionally that's something that they introduced you to, or
Oh yeah, it's a bit. I mean, I think the fun fact. I should maybe double check it before I say it, but I think the fun fact is there's more saunas in Finland than there are people. Like
Wow.
it's the thing you do. Because traditionally,
In the morning?
at
Or-
night, in the evening. It's historically, it's what you would have done. One in Finland would have done to shower and clean off, and way back when in ye olde times they were used as structures for women to give birth in, or you would have
Really?
lay your dead person in there for however long they need to be. So it's kind of a space to clean and cleanse. And so yeah, you sweat a lot. That's the point of it.
Yeah.
And then you
Bet.
you rinse off. Yeah.
Okay, and they just is there a shower in it?
No.
Or is there a shower elsewhere?
So
Okay.
it depends. Again, if you're doing it the more traditional way, the sauna is going to be right next to some kind of body of water, like
Okay.
a lake.
Oh wow.
Lots
Okay.
of lakes in Finland. Very lake heavy country.
Okay.
But I've also
Freshwater?
Yeah, no alligators there. Thank goodness.
Emily, by the way, from Florida.
Yeah.
So just it's Emma Yucks, EMMAYUCKS, and stand-up comedy. So
Yeah.
wait, there's a lake next to the wooden structure.
Yeah, or
In a traditional, or in many cases,
Yeah.
or most cases,
Mhm.
traditional.
And I've also been in some saunas that were, on the bay to the ocean, and stuff like that. So
And so, do you come out and then just jump in the lake?
yeah,
Oh wow!
yeah. There's also
Yeah.
Well, and so then, then you can come back. Like when I was just in Finland this summer, I was in a sauna that, they have a tap. And so when you're all done, then you can take the water and rinse off and then be done.
Kind of a bucket.
Yeah. Bucket situation, bucket dump
Yeah.
situation.
Bucket. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I go to a lot of Korean spas.
Okay.
So there's usually a bucket and some water and some. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the how did you get to your first one? Like, how did you know that they had them? Did somebody tell you that you should go to one, or?
Well, I mean, it's the thing. I mean, it just people just do it.
It just happens.
Yeah, I mean, there
Who-
was a sauna attached to the apartment that I lived in, like a community apartment sauna, and you can reserve it. And so I would go with my roommates. I would go with my friends. It's just.
Did your roommates, had they lived there longer? Did they kind of know what they were doing?
Yes, yeah. One of my roommates was Finnish. And so, yeah, and they had lived there for quite some time, like in that apartment. Actually, I was the newcomer.
Right. And you have to reserve it, because you could just go, I'd like to go. And how long do you reserve it for? Like a half an hour? Or?
No, it's probably at least an hour, if not a little bit longer. But then there are public saunas. Like there was one that I really enjoyed going to, and this is a very you kind of have to know. I mean, I guess you can Google it and find it, but I found out about it from the other Finnish people that I knew. Is a community run sauna. There was nobody doing official oversight and cleanup. It was run by the people who went there, basically. And it actually did burn down a couple of years ago, and they rebuilt it.
And it turns out possibly a cooperative thing may not be as successful as something when there's a committee that's in charge of something.
Yeah.
But you've been to it?
Yeah, and that one was public. You didn't have to reserve it. Didn't cost anything. You just show up and hope it's not too busy. And then they have go ahead.
The ones next to your apartment, did that cost, or was that included in the?
No, that was included.
It was just a sign up.
Yeah. And then I did, a couple of times go to what I guess would be more touristy ones. Like there's this one in Helsinki. It's called the Alas pool. And it has a sauna. And when I went there in the wintertime, we did some ice swimming, because it's got pools that are part of the bay there. And so, bay water, and they chip it out in the wintertime so you can swim in it.
You can jump and so you sauna and then jump into freezing cold water. They have that at the Korean spa too. I'm not super interested in it. I've done it, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah.
So are they co-ed? Are you clothed? What's happening?
That also varies. The public ones, they are usually co-ed, and if it's somewhere you pay to go to, it's likely that you have to be clothed. The community one that I was just telling you about, it's really up to you. And most people are not clothed. And
yet co-ed?
Yeah.
All right. I was as an American, I would just like to know.
I know
if people are noodly or not.
Yes, they are. But then
it was fine.
Then they do have ones that are, I went to a big swimming hall that was a nude swimming hall, and they did have men's and women's days. So it really varies.
Okay, that's cool. And then why is it social? Like, are you sweating together?
Oh yeah,
are you just sitting around?
Yeah, well,
for an hour.
Or however long you want. I've spent quite a long time in saunas, because you go in and out and you take your breaks and you drink water.
Okay.
And then, the other traditional thing to do after you're done with the sauna is to grill food, grill up some sausages and veggies and stuff, and have that.
Okay.
But yeah, what did you ask me? I forgot.
That was are the social aspect of it. So what kind of sausages? Fish sausages?
No.
Or do they have reindeer?
I suppose you can get reindeer sausages, but they're just, normal.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Just pork or beef.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it is pretty funny to think about talking to people in the sauna, but, the whole thing about Finnish people is they don't like to talk much, but then, get them in the sauna and you'll hear somebody's life story. It's
Really?
pretty funny. Yeah.
That is funny
Yeah.
because especially because you're in with strangers sometimes, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
And then you're just sitting there, and all of a sudden they're like, my daughter.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes. It really depends.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. All right. And then what else is traditionally Finnish? Is there anything else traditionally Finnish that I don't know about?
I'm sure I'll have to think about it.
Besides saunas?
Well, and I did remember another Finnish word that I know that's associated with saunas. The word luli, and I can never say it right. Everybody corrects me, but that's the word for when you throw the water on the rocks and the steam comes up.
Oh, okay.
Luli.
And that it has a word.
Yeah.
Luli. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So what else is traditionally Finnish?
Do you ever go on a balloon ride?
No balloon rides.
I just thought, I don't know, just thought it'd be kind of fun. Do they have, I don't know what the land looks like in Finland.
It's flat.
Is it flat?
Yeah, it's flat.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do they grow rye wheat? Do they essentially, or
I don't know.
Have they always traded, like, is there farmland or is it mostly herd?
Yeah.
A herding
Herding
community?
is up north mostly, from what I understand.
Mhm.
But they do have farmland. I don't know what they farm though. It's a good question.
What's the and then here's another question.
Yeah.
What's the coffee situation there?
Oh.
I'm a big fan.
They love their coffee. I think they have like the highest coffee consumption like per capita or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they drinking shots? Are they drinking espressos, or are they drinking just a cup of coffee?
I think it's just a cup of coffee. I don't drink coffee myself, so I don't actually know.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Because I do love a coffee culture.
Oh yeah.
Like sort of a coffee shop culture.
Mm-hmm.
Do they do anything like, when you go to Italy, all the restaurants are closed between like 2 and 5, 2 and 6. Is there any of that going on?
Well, that sort
Do
of
they
thing,
start the day late?
That sort of thing kind of happens in the summertime in the cities because everybody will go to their summer cottage for midsummer. That's another traditional Finnish thing. And so, Helsinki will just kind of be dead in the middle of June.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They'll just take off and everybody sort of has like cabins or something
Yep.
up and
out in the countryside.
That is very Wisconsin, Minnesota.
Well, yeah. From what I've heard, I guess it does look very similar to Wisconsin.
It might be the reason why Wisconsin and Minnesota have those traditions because there's plenty of Swedish, Norwegian, Finnish, just whitey magoos from Northern Europe. Came to plenty of Germans and Polish people too, but yes, but that's right there too. It's southern, it's south of it, but
also
sure,
whitey magoos. Yeah,
a pile of whitey magoos for sure. What was there any sort of nightlife?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Because in the winter, nighttime starts at like 3 p.m. So.
Yeah. So does that when the drinking starts?
Yes. Yeah, I'd say so. But,
wow.
I don't want to paint them.
But you got to go to college. Yeah.
Well, no, that's definitely not true. They do, I think, unfortunately, have a very high rate of alcoholism and depression.
Sure.
So for the happiest country in the world, I don't know.
Well, and do they have those lamps that bring the sun to you?
Yeah. Yeah, I believe.
Did you use one of those?
I did not. I just, gritted my teeth and got through it. That's why I go to the sauna so much. It's nice and warm and good place to be.
It's warm and social and there's humans.
Yep.
Are you kind of shoulder to shoulder in the sauna? I don't want to touch someone wet.
Yeah, it depends. Again, it depends. If it's very busy, you might be pretty. Of course, though, like everybody does their best not to touch and to look at the neighbors.
Right. Everybody's trying to be polite.
Lots of eye contact, which again, you're probably not going to get anywhere else in Finland. But Yeah, it can be a little, it can be, and if like you don't bring your own towel to sit on in the sauna, it's like, ugh, it's a
Oh,
little
is that, yeah, are there,
slimy.
is there, right, it's gross.
It's so
Are there,
gross.
like, what are the protocols?
I mean, well, there aren't many.
There's
And
sort of accepted, well, I'm sure there's accepted things, and then there's things that are encouraged as a culture.
definitely. And yeah, again, it really depends on where you are and what kind of sauna you're in. I mean, I was in a very busy sauna one time, and the people there who went there regularly were not happy about it, and so they just started dumping water on the rocks until it got hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter, and people that couldn't and didn't want to deal with it left, and so they said, finally, this is less busy.
Ah, that is hilarious. And by the way, I love finding the actual dorkdom of somebody right around 40 minutes into the show,
Yeah,
which is
is this just the
saunas,
sauna
which is
episode?
fucking saunas. Right.
Yeah.
So how hot can you stand it? Like, I mean, I suppose if it's, do they encourage you to, and do they encourage you to bring a towel? Do they
Yes.
encourage you
Yeah, for sure.
just,
And bring
yeah.
water, of course. And take as many breaks as you need to. You know, they're really not judgmental at all. Do what you got to do so that you have a good time. I mean, you don't go there to suffer, you know.
Right. What is the good time though of it feels like suffering to me, I
It's
have to
very
say, but that's only
refreshing.
because is it?
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
so it's cleaning out your pores for
Mhm.
sure.
Mhm.
Do you go in Eugene, Oregon? Do you go to them?
No, I think there's only one place that I could go. And I don't know. I haven't been.
Yeah, you haven't been. You haven't tried it yet. How long have you been back in Eugene?
Well, I mean, in general, how long have I lived
Like
here?
5 Yeah,
Yeah,
the 5 years of
I've
doing stand up
I've lived
or
here for about 6 years now. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so by the way, I am talking with Emma Lee. It is EMMAYUCKS on the Instagram. Stand up comic, Eugene, Oregon. We're talking about Finland,
Yeah.
which is in between Sweden and Russia. Did you end up going to Sweden or Russia?
I did go to Sweden. I did a lot of traveling while I was there because they offer a lot of student discounts. And
Oh, nice.
there was this sort of organization that helped find cheap plane tickets. And of course, you know, they've got a train system in Europe. So I did a
Right.
lot of traveling. I did go to Sweden. I didn't go to Russia because you got to get a visa and stuff to go there. And I was just like,
Right. It's more complicated.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
all right.
And how was Estonia? Could you just hop over there?
Yeah, it's just a ferry down there, just a few
But you
hours.
bring your passport, obviously,
Yeah,
right?
I did most of the time, but you know, if you're in Europe, if you're in the Schengen zone, they don't have, you know, you can travel freely between countries. You don't
What's
actually.
Shenzhen?
Well, it's like an agreement that a lot of the European countries have. You know, no travel borders basically. So you know, you can travel between France and Spain and not have to show your passport. Like if you drive over the border, you don't have to show your
Oh,
passport.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because sort of as a EU kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
okay. Oh, that's all right. Now I want to go. So when were you last there?
In Finland, well, I was there this past June for Midsummer because it's a fun time and I like to celebrate Midsummer. And so, yeah, I was there this past June. And I also went to a wedding for a friend of mine last year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you still have friends who live there
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
yep. So super fun.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like the idea that so I was in Iceland
Okay.
and I asked several people in Iceland of Icelandic people,
Mhm.
what is the food that I should try
Okay.
when I come to Iceland?
Mhm.
I have since learned that there is a disgusting shark-based food that I don't want to try.
Yeah.
That they were nice enough to not tell me about. They said, "Well, you should definitely try a meat soup. We do an amazing meat soup
Okay.
here." And I was like, "What kind of meat?" They're like, "It's just meat soup." And so I ordered it twice while we were on that trip
Mhm.
in an effort to find out what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
And it turns out, you know what we call meat soup here in America?
What?
Soup. It's just soup with different meats, whatever's available. You can get yourself kind of a beef and vegetable soup.
Okay.
Sometimes it's a chicken soup,
Uh-huh.
and sometimes it's like a little bit of a lamb stew,
Yeah.
but kind of brothy.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a green bean and beef. Yeah, nothing. It's soup. So is there a Finnish, besides the salmon soup, is there other foods that are kind of traditional that
Traditional
you
Finnish
tried or
food.
did not try?
Yeah. Well, the open faced sandwich is a pretty
They do it.
traditional. I mean, it's
They do some good work with an open face
they
sandwich.
do. And then they have pastries that are pretty good. They bake with cardamom a lot.
Okay.
And then they have this other. It's kind of like a rice. Hey, I can't remember the name of it exactly. I'd have to look it up. But it's this kind of pastry that looks like this, and it's kind
Like
of
a
folded
hands? Yeah.
in. And it's
Okay.
got rice and eggs in the middle of it, and that's very traditional Finnish.
Oh, like a breakfast?
Yeah.
Like a breakfast pastry?
Mhm,
Okay.
yeah.
So it looks like a cherry Danish, but it
Well,
has eggs in it.
no, I didn't do a very good job explaining. I'll be honest with you.
No, it's fine.
And it's mostly it's rice in the middle, and then whenever you have it, like you put boiled eggs on top of it or whatever on top of it. So
Okay. Yeah. That sounds delicious.
yeah.
Well, this has been what it's done for me, Emily.
Yes.
Is it has whet my interest
Okay.
in Finland.
Good.
And it makes me interested in going to Finland, which I've absolutely never wanted to go to Finland before. Not for any. Did you get to see the Northern Lights?
Not there. No, because Helsinki.
Helsinki's well lit.
Yes, it is.
You'd have to leave town,
Yeah.
I think, to
And
get to see it.
Then you have to hope for clear sky, which in the wintertime when the Northern Lights come out is a bit of a rarity.
Is it pretty cloudy?
Yeah, for sure. It can be. And so that's kind of what makes winter so terrible is even if the sun is out, you might not be able to see
You
it.
don't get to see it.
Yeah.
Well, let's leave it on that cheerful note, you guys. No, it's go there, bring joy to Finland if you
Yeah.
can, and definitely go sit in the sauna because that's where all of their socializing and most of their joy resides from the sound of it. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right. Emily, you've been a great, thank you so much for doing the Dork Forest.
Thank you for having me on, Jackie. This was great.
And Rangers, you know the rules out there. Take care of each other.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat, my hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?